Hello, VIP Kid teachers. So I just had two assessments in a row. I have one break and then I have the rest of my classes for the day. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of my extension and how I connected with my student just now, in case you were wondering, because you may be wondering, do they want us to connect with their kids? And I'm going to share with you why I do this, what my reasoning behind it, why I add a little bit of more personal touch. It is because I want my students to be able to connect with Americans around the world and use regular questions and regular conversation that might come up. So, for example, I just gave a test. It is the farm life assessment. This was level 3, I believe. Um, what I did was I asked him I went a little extra. It asked, where you get eggs from, what comes from what. But then I said, "Do you know what else comes from chickens?" And then and he got really quiet and I drew KFC and I said, "Do you eat KFC?" And he said, "Yes." And then he said, "Chickens. We get eggs and chicken from chickens because it's true." So I wanted him to know that. And then at the end, we were completely done. We had maybe a minute, maybe even two. I circled all the animals that were on the game board and I said, what comes from? And I just changed up the questioning, like what comes from cows? And he said milk and cheese, which I love that he threw cheese in there. And then I asked him about the sheep. I was like, this may be a little bit difficult. But he didn't know the words, but he circled the wool. He said, this comes from sheep. And I said, yeah. And so I taught him the word. I drew wool on the screen and I said, wool, wool. And I said, how do we use wool? And he said, clothes. And I said, yes, clothes, jacket. And then I said, is wool cold or is wool warm? And he said, warm. I said, good. So I just throw out questions to make sure they completely understand. And usually they understand, they just sometimes need help expressing that idea. So I try to get that out of them and teach them not a ton of words. I don't want it to be an overload, but just a word every now and again. I will write on the screen or I will type for my student that knows a lot of English. He's level 5, about to be level 6. I type in the actual word and I teach him new words every single day. But with new students, just randomly, I'll teach him a new word. So let me know below if you teach new words. I thought before of having a word of the day, just like how I have joyful and teaching, but I kind of like, for now, I like it better just as the lesson progresses. If I see that they need help expressing an idea, just throwing that word out there to teach them so they remember. And this student brought up at least 2 or 3 things that I previously taught him maybe 2 weeks ago. Um, he brought it up to make sure that I knew that he remembered, and I was so proud of him. Happy teaching, and let me know your advice below because we can all share and feed off of each other. Happy teaching.